If you've ever wondered what really happens when someone in retirement suddenly needs ongoing care, or how quickly those costs can drain a nest egg, today's show is for you. We're tackling one of the biggest blind spots in retirement planning, long-term care. What is it, what it costs, and how to protect yourself and your family from financial and emotional hit. That's coming up right now on Financial Fast Track with Tod Long.
You are moments away from finally getting the inside track on finance.
You've saved, you've done all the preparation, but when it's time to execute, you have to shift from preparing to performing.
This is the Financial Fast Track with Tod Long.
What we're going to do is take the guesswork out of financial planning for you.
Making more momentum with your money.
Hey, welcome on into the show. This is Financial Fast Track, as you heard the introduction with Tod Long. Tod Long is a former OU Sooner in the sprinting department of the athletics, and also a former professional sprinter. Is that what you call yourself? You're a sprinter?
Yes, sprinter. Anything below the 400, well, actually anything below 800 meters now is a sprint, but I didn't go that far. The most I've ever ran is 600 meters, but
800 seems like farther than a sprint, but that's me.
Well, I used to think that as well, but it is definitely a sprint now.
Oh, that's just the way they classify it. Boy, you got to have a lot of carbs in your system to make that thing a sprint.
You absolutely do. Yes.
But you're a 200, or 200 was your game, right?
Yes, 200 meter primarily. And I told my actually professional coach that if you train me for the 200 meter, I'll be able to run the 400 meter and I'll be able to run the 100 meter. And so that's, I think, what happened in college. I didn't have that kind of relationship with my coach. It was like, no, you're gonna run this.
Okay.
and so I ran the 400 meter primarily, but we didn't have a lot of sprinters earlier. When I say sprinters, short sprints early in my college career. So for points at Big Eights and whatnot, I would run the 100 and the 200 meter. But I trained for the 400 meter. We was going to have a strong 4x4 relay for sure.
Now, Tod, can we, before we get to talking about our very important subject matter, and that is long-term care, because it's Long-Term Care Awareness Month, tell me what the order of things were. You ran in high school, then collegiate, then Nike, then world titles?
Well,
is that the right order?
Well, yes, sort of. Yes, I ran as a senior in high school. Then I ran 4 years at the collegiate level at OU.
Yes.
Then I got a contract with Nike and ran professionally. So as a professional, I was a world champion.
Okay.
I was a USA champion, that kind of thing. Collegiately, I was, 7 or 6 time All-American, 8 or 9 time conference champion, Big 8 champion, that kind of thing. And technically, as a collegian, you can be a world champion as well. I never was, but you can. I mean, there's plenty of folks right now that are sprinting or used to sprint in college and then go into the world stage and become a world champion. As a matter of fact, there's a guy who skipped college. He was in high school and got a bronze medal at one of the Olympics, I think it was 2022 or 2024, one of the two, the one that had to redo because of the COVID. He was in high school. I think it was 18, 17 years old and got a bronze medal in the 200 meter. So yeah, his name's Aaron Knighton.
Nice.
But yeah, you don't have to necessarily be professional to be a world champion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because there's quite from 1999 to 2013. I mean, isn't that the last time you won a world title, 2013?
2013, yes, but I was as a master. So
as a master.
Yeah, as a master. Yeah. So if you're like,
is that code word for senior?
Yeah, it can be because it goes up into. I think when I went out to that, I went to Porto Alegre, Brazil for that world championship, and it's banded via age groups, and so I was at that point in time 42 years old, and so it goes from 40 to 44 is a group, and then 45 to 49 is another group, etc. And it goes up from there. But then there's folks in their 80s and 90s actually running the 100, running the 200 meter, and sometimes 800 meter, those kinds of things, or doing like decathlon type stuff or pentathlon type stuff. It's pretty impressive.
And those are, I think, Jamaicans and Peruvians, aren't they, that can run like that? No? People from all over the world?
All over the world. I mean, there's a lot of Americans doing it. I mean, it doesn't make a difference what country's from. If you still have the wherewithal to go out and train on a consistent basis and then go out and compete against people in your age group, then go do it. As a matter of fact, when I started doing it, I didn't really have anybody in my age group in the area. So I was running against kids that were 20 something years old, still holding my own, mind you, at 40 something years old. Yeah. Still getting beat, but I was still like, okay, my times are there. And so then once you start to get into regional races and then nationals, then you're kind of sectioned off in your individual age brackets.
I see. I learn more about it each and every time that we talk here on the radio. Folks, this is Financial Fast Track with Tod Long. Now you understand why we titled the show Fast Track, because Tod, he's a pretty fast runner. And now that you're in your 50s, is that true? Are you 50?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I'll be 55 in about a month.
It's unbelievable. So you're full on a Gen Xer. That's it.
Yes, definitely. That is my generation.
I'll be darned, but you, of course, you look so much younger. Is that because you're an athlete? I don't get it.
I'm going to say yes. I still train about 4 days a week. Yeah. But I think my genetics are still there. I mean, my parents are both 78 at this point and still look pretty good. So I think there's some
genetic help on that side.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Men your age, they all look, if you're healthy between 35 and 50, I'm like, you're just a grown up man. You're in that age group. But anyway, you're full on 55. I love it.
Yeah. Almost. I'm still 54.
Sorry, don't push you over any edges.
Almost.
Birthday's coming up on December 18th. Oh, man, that's neat. Well, I'd just like to illuminate your career in athletics to let people know, that same kind of resilience and dedication to training and performing and all that stuff you apply to your financial business, which you've been doing for quite some time now. Is it 22 years?
Yeah, I'm working on my 23rd year now.
See, you've been around.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, helping people with their monies and getting a very good roadmap put together for your financial life after you retire from the big job. And what we're talking about today could occur at any point, couldn't it? It's not just for the senior of seniors, but oftentimes does concern the senior of seniors.
That is correct. Yeah, long-term care. It's more than just nursing homes, and I think a lot of people probably think long-term care somebody's house is in some sort of home. It's not like that. It's any ongoing help with activities of daily living. That's like bathing, dressing, eating, toileting, or even like memory related type of supervision. The majority of care actually happens in the home with family members or professional caregivers, not in a facility. So it's not about, where you get the care. It's actually how you pay for it and who actually carries the burden of this situation.
Okay, very good. Now, Tod's reachable on this number, 888-548-0409. We have that number set up specially for the radio show, 888-548-0409. His firm is Long Financial Services. And for those who need the help at home, if you've never thought about it before, just think that family members are going to come to your rescue. Like this sister will be here on this day, and that sister will come over on that day, and then, that brother will come to help mom and dad on this day. But golly, after a while, this begins to pile up. And if you just have a plan put together with some assets applied towards it, then boom, you've got some leverage and things will go a little bit smoother. Do I have the right of it?
For the most part, yeah. And I want to mention this. Statistically speaking, 70% of Americans over 65 will need some form of long-term care. I'm going to let that sink in for a hot second. Please. 70% of all Americans over 65 years old. That's a lot of folks. And the sticker shock is the average nursing home cost today is $109,000 a year. And in 20 years, it's projected to be about $218,000 a year. So even home health care, somebody coming out to your house and helping around the house, et cetera, 44 hours a week, is roughly $73,000 annually. So if you're not planning for those numbers, they'll quickly eat into your retirement savings, for sure.
For sure. And then what if there aren't even enough retirement savings? This is what scares me for one of my family members, because now he's needing the care and it's kind of just too late to put together a plan. And so then I think all of his money's going to be gone in a couple of years. Yeah. That's actually what keeps me up at night with my clients. It's actually, when care is needed, families, like you just mentioned, typically step in, but the toll is huge. Studies have shown 47% of caregivers struggle with anxiety,
depression, and 20% say caregiving has limited their careers because guess what? You're focused on taking care of that family member versus, your own career options. And half of the, living paycheck, half of those folks are living paycheck to paycheck while helping the loved one. So even if you think, my family's going to take care of me, that becomes a financial and emotional wrecking ball for that family member. So you got to keep that in mind when you have that concept of, my family's going to take care of me.
Mm-hmm. And you said it before, most of our concept of long-term care is somebody in a nursing home facility, but I'm happy to know that a lot of that care can happen right at home. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't have to wreck you, right?
It doesn't, but you still have to plan for it. And
okay.
Technically, a lot of folks think that Medicare is going to cover this. It doesn't.
I know.
Yeah, it doesn't.
People think that. Oh,
yeah,
my Medicare is going to cover this.
Right. It may cover up 200 days of skilled or rehab care after a hospital stay, but that's it. Once you need help, like with those everyday living that I was talking about, activities, you're going to be on your own unless you qualify for like Medicaid. And if you qualify for Medicaid, that means you have to spend down all of your retirement funds to be able to qualify for Medicaid. Nobody wants to do that. So the government will take care of me option that plan doesn't help either.
Right. That especially, middle class folks.
Yeah. If you're wondering how a long-term care event could actually impact your retirement, this is your chance to find out. We're offering a financial fast track review for the next 10 callers. It's a no cost, no obligation session where we'll run a care cost analysis to estimate what future care might really cost you in your situation. Review your current income and asset plan to see how long-term care event could actually affect it and actually show you modern, tax-efficient protection options that can actually safeguard your lifestyle and your legacy. Whether that's traditional long-term care coverages, a life insurance hybrid, or another solution, you'll walk away with clarity and confidence. So for the next 10 callers, that's your financial fast track review, free of charge.
888-548-0409. 888-548-0409. Use this phone number to call Todd, 888-548-0409. This is the Financial Fast Track with Tod Long, and we'll be right back.
Tired of financial jargon that leaves you feeling confused? At Long Financial Services, Tod Long offers clear, straightforward advice about your retirement. Understand your strategies, regain control, and get peace of mind knowing exactly where you stand. Call 888-548-0409. Again, that's 888-548-0409.
Welcome back to the show, Financial Fast Track with Tod Long and Jackie Selby on this side of things. Now, we have been talking about long-term care. It's not the sexiest thing, but it is something to shine the light on. This is Long-Term Care Awareness Month, the month of November annually, and I think it's really important because this could really put a cash flow problem into the hands of your kids or your grandkids or your parents or your aunts, your uncles, if something isn't done in advance. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about how you help people understand the cost analysis of putting together something so that they can have either in-home care or later assisted living and possibly nursing home care.
Right. So traditional long-term care insurance used to be like car insurance. If you never used it, that money is pretty much gone.
Down the drain.
Yeah, down the drain.
Thank you.
Yeah. The new generation of linked benefit or hybrid LTC plans solve that issue. So these combine life insurance with long-term care coverage. So whether you need care, you pass away, or even change your mind, somebody is going to get paid. You're not just throwing that money away on a maybe anymore. That's where that modern or this, I really wanted to have this show be about modern financial services and products, right? That's why it's Financial Fast Track. Fast track you into some modern type of concepts. In this particular product, how it's actually designed today is totally different from even my experience from 23 years ago, because 23 years ago, I was selling long-term care. If you didn't use it, you just lost all that money. Now, it's completely different. If you don't use it, great, somebody's going to get paid. If you pass away, great, somebody's going to get paid. If you change your mind, guess what? I have there's policies now that you can get all your premiums back. So it's a completely different game changer now.
This is it can be a fun topic because it will save the sanity and the health of those around you. I mean, if I can give you a quick example, you don't mind, do you, Todd?
No, go ahead.
Of a friend.
Please.
Okay, I was listening to you know how everybody uses the speaker on the phone now?
Yeah.
And so I'm listening to a conversation secondhand, and it's a woman she's 78, and her name's Bernadette, and all of a sudden, her husband couldn't find the way home in the car. Okay, and then a month later, he fell and broke his hip. Now you see where this is going. And he's only 82 years old. And so she made the mistake of calling a senior attorney that helps with senior care things. And he's got her in a big fat, $50,000 retainer or something like this because he sniffed out that she had some money. And you could just hear the anguish in her voice because it was going nowhere. It wasn't going to help fund the nursing home or the rehab for her husband. And now she's got 6 adult children clamoring in her ear. Well, how's it going to be handled and all that?
Right.
The guy did nothing for her. So this is why I think it's just so darn important. That was only last week. I'm like, I can't wait to talk to Todd about this.
Yeah.
Because my heart just goes out to her. I mean, that is one way to sink her health by not having a plan now.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll probably talk about this a little bit later on, but a lot of folks think long-term care is expensive and they have to do like net new money. They have to buy something to get this.
That came from this money. I don't have $100,000.
Exactly. But actually they do. And so the whole concept of, especially what I do as far as a financial advisor is I don't charge anything for this, right? Am I paid? Am I doing this as a voluntary? No, I'm not. I'm getting paid, but I'm getting paid from the companies. You probably have enough money to pay for a long-term care policy in your existing portfolio. So it's all about moving the money around. It's not about doing anything net new. I don't have to go out and find $25,000 out of thin air. No, you've got $25,000 in an IRA, in a Roth, in some other account. We just transition that money into one of these long-term care type of policies, and it's the same thing. And so we'll explore a little bit more later on in a different segment, but people have to understand that this is not net new money. So you should not want to have a conversation about this. It's something that you can have a conversation about, and you should feel comfortable and confident that, hey, you know what? I already have some money. I just got to move that money around and make it work best for me.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I said to my friend, and then to tell her, these things can be dealt with. 888-548-0409, 888-548-0409. And to the person who is listening, you don't have to come up with this money out of nowhere. It's not like you have to work extra shifts or something. But it's not new net zero. Is that what you said?
Yeah, not net new.
Net new.
So that's money out of thin air, or you got to go out and work a second, third job, doing DoorDash or whatever it may be to get money. Not at all. Before it was probably like that, but now how these things are situated, you can just divert money that you have already paid into. You've already paid this money into a 401k or a traditional IRA or whatever. Now it's trying to, let's move that money around a little bit to make it work best for you. Because right now it may not be working best for you sitting in a 401k earning, 5%. It could be, well, I'm going to put a portion of this funds into a long-term care policy. That's a one-time payment. You don't have to pay it ever again. And then now it's going to work in the event you need it. It's there, right? Because that's the best time to get it is when you don't technically need it. Because when you need it, your health is declining. If your health is declining, the odds are you getting this policy is very slim because your health has declined.
That's not the time to get the policy.
That's not the time to get the policy. The time is now when you're healthy and you have the money sitting there. That's the time to do it.
Man, that's amazing, Todd. 888-548-0409. Call Todd, get on his schedule, 888-548-0409. And he's actually going to pick up the calls this weekend, aren't you, personally?
I am, yes. Okay. I'll be picking up the phone.
All right. Calls. So when he says Long Financial Services, that's the man.
That's me.
Yeah, 888-548-0409. And people of your age group, now I'm on the cusp of being a baby boomer and Gen Xer. I'm right on that thin margin. But you're fully planted in the Gen X generation. So your folks, they're in that generation where they may need this in the next 10 years, some long-term care, or 5 years. That
is correct. Really, now, as I mentioned, 70% of Americans over the age of 65 is going to have some sort of long-term care event. That's just factual.
Right. And
my parents being, late 70s, the probability is extremely high that's going to happen. And so long-term care is necessary. And so folks that are my age, 55, early 50s, et cetera, this is the prime opportunity, number one, to do something for yourself. That way you don't have your children have a burden for you. Because this, again, you're going to age. Everybody's going to age. Going to get to 65, 70 years old. Something's probably going to happen. And if you thought about it at 51, 52, you know what? Let me just look at this long-term care policy and see if it's beneficial. Again, it's not net new money. It's a situation where it's a hybrid. It's kind of attached to a life insurance policy that's, that has built-in long-term care benefits associated with it.
Love it.
So if you ever need it, the policy, lets you accelerate the death benefit, meaning that you can use that money while you're still alive. And if you ever need, care, your loved ones receive the full death benefit. If you never need care, I should say, your loved ones will receive the death benefit tax-free. So, for example, if $250,000 policy may pay you $5,000 a month for care,
okay,
and anything that's unused goes to your beneficiaries. So it's an easy policy to do. It's money you already technically have, and a lot of these scenarios are going to be tax free, whether it be the benefits or the beneficiaries getting tax free money. So it's a win-win for everybody involved.
I just want to ask you, I love win-wins, 888-548-0409, 888-548-0409 to reach Tod. What about the agricultural client or the farmer, the, school principal, the whoever's listening, they think, oh, just set me out in front and that's where I'll sit on the rocking chair and you don't need to take care of me. I'm just going to die in my sleep out there in the rocking chair.
Right.
So many men say that. I'm just going to die in my sleep. I don't know why it's men that always say that. I don't need anything like that. I'm just going to pass away right here in the chair.
Yeah, I think they've been watching too much TV.
Me too.
Yeah, honestly, because that's a very novelette way to assume that's going to happen.
We don't know, though.
Yeah, we don't know. In some instances, that may be the case. I mean, I'm hoping mine's like that. It's probably not going to be. Something's going to fail, whether it be some liver issue, whether it be some sort of lung issue, heart issue. I'll put liver out there because
you like whiskey.
I like whiskey. It may be something, although that's why I train 4 days a week, just so I can
enjoy a little bit of whiskey, yes.
But others may not be training like me, right? And so those situations are going to happen regardless of if we think it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And so we just got to prepare for it. And it's not, again, it's not money that you're wasting. It's not money that you have to go out and try to find. It's money you already have. And if you put this money into one of these long-term care type of policies and you don't use it, you are in the rocking chair in the sunset and in the weeks it's kind of blowing and you pass away. Awesome. Great. That money goes to your beneficiaries, just as if it stayed in your traditional IRA.
You bet. And we love you, Daddy, for fixing that up for us.
Right. They definitely will say that without a doubt. Without a doubt. So, if you've actually, like to see how a modern long-term care solution could fit into your retirement plan, this is your opportunity. We're offering a financial fast track review for the next 10 callers. During this session, we'll show you how linked benefit policies could protect your retirement income without giving up control of your assets, compared to traditional long-term care insurance, life-based solutions, and even annuity-based options side by side. We're going to create a personalized protection plan that fits your age, your health, and your goals. It's a great session with no pressure, no obligation, just clarity about your options before costs rise or health change. So for the next 10 callers, that's a financial fast track review, free of charge. Jackie, tell the listeners how they can get one of these spots.
Love it. 888-548-0409. 888-548-0409. Long Financial Services, that's the number, 888-548-0409.
Feeling like just another number with your advisor? At Long Financial Services, you're always valued personally. Tod Long knows your retirement isn't about numbers on a page. It's about income you can depend on, security you can trust, and advice tailored specifically to you. Take the first step toward a meaningful conversation. Call 888-548-0409. Proudly serving Oklahoma. Again, that's 888-548-0409.
We've got Tod Long right here in person from Long Financial Services. The show is Financial Fast Track with Tod Long. We want to get your retirement fast-tracked because, boy, these years are just going, we're at the end of 2025.
Yes, we are.
What has happened to the year? It just has sped by, I feel like. And
it does.
We've been talking about long-term care because this is Long-Term Care Awareness Month, November. I know that even November's evaporating. We have Thanksgiving coming up. Mm-hmm. It's so fast that everything's happening. Do you want to talk to me about self-funding a policy that will cover long-term care as opposed to transferring the risk of said policy?
Right. So that's one of the biggest mindset shifts that most people need to actually make. Long-term care isn't something you buy. It's liability you transfer.
Okay.
You can self-fund and hope that you don't outlive your assets, or you can actually reposition a portion of those assets to create leverage. Think of it this way. For every dollar you reposition, you might create $3,000 to $5,000 of tax-free benefit for care. You're turning idle money in a savings, money market, CD, maybe an old annuity, et cetera, into a lifetime protection pool.
Now that's interesting. I guess that's part of the emotional reward of planning for said event.
Well, yeah, you actually planning for this kind of thing is when it gets real. This isn't about you. It's about your spouse. It's about your kids. It's about your peace of mind. So when you've got a plan, your family doesn't have to make those tough decisions under pressure. Again, something happens. I don't have a plan. Let me go raid the 401k, traditional IRA, get taxed, get penalties, get whatever. That's under pressure. Those decisions aren't really the good decisions. They don't have to go to guess, what you would have wanted or drain down their own savings to try to help. So planning ahead, gives your family permission to be just that, a family, not caregivers, not financial managers, not, crisis managers. It's really just, I need to be that son. I need to be that daughter. I need to be that spouse in this time of need.
Wow. That's pretty heavy stuff. You can call Todd on 888-548-0409, 888-548-0409. I mean, this is, I feel like this is the time to make a decision. It's like the turning point, isn't it?
It actually is. This is for every year someone waits, a few things happens. Your premiums go up, your insurability goes down, and inflation keeps driving those care costs higher. So if you're healthy today, you can actually lock in guaranteed benefits and future flexibility. But if your health changes tomorrow, those options disappear. So remember, the best time to buy long-term care protection isn't when you need it. It's when you can actually still qualify for it.
I see. And it's just like the old adage, you don't call the insurance guy to buy flood insurance when there's the river's expanding, of course, in advance. But is there a sweet spot?
Well, yeah, 50, to 50 to 60, early 60s is actually the sweet spot time-wise. I guess I should say age-wise. Money-wise, if you have any assets, I probably put out there $200,000 to $2 million. Any assets you have, you want to try to protect, period.
Okay.
And there's policies and solutions we can actually do to help prevent the drain on your assets during that time frame.
That's important. That it's not going to cost you that. We just want to protect that money.
That's correct.
All right. Todd's number, 888-548-0409, 888-548-0409.
Retirement means a new phase of life, and managing risk is crucial. At Long Financial Services, Tod Long and his team build comprehensive strategies designed to minimize risk, generate reliable income, and help you stay proactive through every market condition. Discover what your retirement plan could look like. Call 888-548-0409. Again, that's 888-548-0409.
Hey, welcome back to the show. I'm so glad that we're talking about this subject matter. It's really hitting home for me lately. And this is long-term care. Not that I need it, but I do have a sibling going through this. Welcome back to Financial Fast Track with Tod Long of Long Financial Services. And I know, Todd, that you have witnessed this in your client base, in your own family, and friends of family. That's why it's so, I hope this is one of the reasons that you got into the business that you're in, is to inform people and help them.
Yes, eventually I got to that point. The last part, the first part, again, I followed my dad's footsteps and started doing some of these things. But and I really didn't get into long-term care until probably maybe 5 to 8 years into my tenure. Okay. And it was really about IULs and some annuities. But then once I started getting really good at what I was doing and understanding the products we actually are offering, then I started to understand the impact of that. And also keep in mind that a lot of folks that I started out with, they weren't in a situation where they needed these things.
But now they do.
Now they do. But also the impact of their families. Once I started to talk to someone, my daughter's got my power of attorney, and she needs some help because I drained my my 401k, and all these different scenarios start to pop up. And now I see how important long-term care technically is. And I will say there's a sweet spot on someone who needs long-term care. And the typical person who puts in an LTC plan in place is usually in their 50s to early 60s in good health with roughly $200,000 to $2 million in assets. They've built a solid retirement nest egg, and they realize that one health event could actually unravel all of it. So they're planners by nature. So but they also want control, not surprises. So and most of them actually have seen it firsthand, like yourself. It's like there's a parent, there's a friend, someone that that you know who's went through this process unprepared. A lot of my clients go through this unprepared. So knowing that you have someone like me on the radio saying you got to give me a call, let's talk about it, is important. You should take advantage of that opportunity.
Which is 888-548-0409. Call Tod Long, 888-548-0409. And for no cost and no obligation, he'll pop onto his schedule, and he'll give you priority from the radio show, of course. And he does offer the first 10 each show, and that's now. So 888-548-0409. This is interesting what you said, that there are strategies now. And I remember having a conversation with a coworker. He's a little bit older than me. Well, gosh, he must be 75 or 6, so he's a lot older than me. Anyway, and back then he was telling me, I don't have to worry about a thing, Jackie. My family won't have to be paying for my long-term care. It just did not even make sense until I started working with you. I'm like, oh, that's what that is.
Yeah. This gentleman, if he has that kind of thought process, he could have millions and millions and millions that may be the case. A lot of folks just aren't in that kind of situation. Again, $200,000 to $2 million in assets is what these LTC policies should handle. Because going back to that statistic I said earlier, traditional nursing home cost is $107,000, $109,000 a year. That's a year. If you do that in 5 years, you do that for 7 years. Guess what? That's $700,000 out of pocket. That's a lot of money. So, and people are often surprised how affordable this actually is, especially compared to the risk that's involved, that I just mentioned. So let's say you need $5,000 a month for 6 years. That's roughly $360,000 in total coverage. At age 60, that might cost you around $60,000 one time. Or a 5-pay option, roughly $13,000 or $15,000 a year. So, and if you're 65, that may be around $65,000 for a single pay. Now, compare that to spending $109,000 every year in a nursing home. It's pretty clear which side of the math you need to be on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let the math work for you. Let the math do its math thing.
Right.
But everybody's going to need some help with their medical care, the way things are going in our society.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I mentioned earlier in a previous segment about Medicare does not pay for any of this, right? There's certain little elements they'll pay, but it's not much. Medicaid, on the other hand, will pay for some of these things. However, you have to spend down the majority of your retirement plan in order to qualify for Medicaid. And those who don't have the $200,000 $2 million in assets, they probably can get some Medicaid type of assistance, but that assistance is not going to be very good. So keep that in mind when you think, all right, I don't have money, I don't have assets. You still can probably try to find some other alternatives in a long-term care type of policy or hybrid policy that can give you some better care. I will mention as well, there's two kinds of policies out there for long-term care, which is different than what it was before. One's an indemnity contract, and the other is a reimbursement contract. And then I have policies that actually do both. So the indemnity one is the one you want the most, because that's going to pay you the benefit after you've been approved. that means if you need help, you got to pay a niece or a nephew or whatever it is for service, you can do that. Or if it's a professional person, you can do that as well. Or you can take that money to, I need a wheelchair now. Now I need to, build an access to my house. You can actually build that. You can take that money and do certain things with it. Whereas reimbursement is all about, I got service from a facility or for some sort of professional, et cetera, for this specific care. Then you'll get reimbursed for that money. So there's a little difference in how you go out and doing it. But I just want to put that out there. Okay. Indemnity is really the one you really want.
It seems like that could be the case because that's the last thing that folks want to be worrying about is this in my opinion, reimbursements, more paperwork, right?
That's correct. It
more
is.
administrative work on the part of the people or the family who is sick or has an ill loved one.
That's correct. You just
that's
need,
a pain in the bum.
Absolutely. You just need the cash. Give me the cash. And so that cash can go towards really anything you want as once you have an approved event. That's it. And again, I have policies that are strictly indemnity policies that are great. That way you'll get access to cash whenever you need the cash.
Right. Now, you were talking about numbers. Todd's number for Long Financial Services, 888-548-0409, 888-548-0409. And you were saying that it works best if you have about $250,000 right in your IRA plans.
Yeah. As low as $200,000 up to
as
$2 million.
As low as all the way up to your right.
About $2 million. I mean, anything above that, those folks probably can afford whatever happens.
Right.
But anything in that sweet spot is between $200,000 to $2 million. You may think that's a lot, but
pretty
again,
middle class, actually.
Exactly. And also consider that it's $110,000 for nursing home care per year.
Yes.
So if you're in there for a period of time, that could take a third, if not 3/4 of your if you got $2 million in it takes a lot of that money out.
Sure.
And then you still have to live afterwards.
Right. Golly. I was thinking those numbers, I don't want that to scare anybody off because there are certain situations where somebody could be coming into an inheritance soon and maybe they don't have enough money saved for themselves, but they want to cover this for their husband and wife for both lives or whatever. So I like that you mentioned that it's you can do single pay or 5 years, just however you structure it.
Yeah.
Because these kinds of policies are very modern and very flexible.
That's absolutely tons of flexibility. You're still in control. Multiple ways to pay for it. Doesn't have to be a 1 pay. It could be a 5 pay. It can be something else. I can structure it however you want to get structured. But the whole goal is, well, I guess the thought is it's not new money you have to go out and find. You have this money already. Yes. It just has to be placed in a situation where it helps you the most. A lot of people just don't understand that. I was just telling you a minute ago, I just want a big balance in my 401k. Yeah, that may be good for a second, but is it really helping you? Is that money working for you the correct way? And that's what we have to really, kind of uncover and unpack.
Right. Very good. And Todd, is this not just a functional hybrid policy for long-term care coverage, but is this an investment? Is there some growth? Is this an investment strategy?
Well, there are policies out there that have, I'm going to call it policy. There are solutions or strategies that that are attached to annuities, and we talked about annuity in our show. Okay. And so some of these annuities have these long-term care type of riders attached to it, so you can get some care in the event that something happens. So if you're supposed to get a payout of $5,000, it's going to double it if one of these assisted living type scenarios happen. And in those particular instances, again, while it's not an investment, you will get growth on your premium. So if you put in, call it $60,000 into one of these annuities, and it's getting 5, 7, 8, 9%, that's still your money, and it's still tax free, and it'll still be transferred to your beneficiaries tax free, and or it'll be given to you tax free if you have a need for it in a long term care event.
Right, and this seems super protected as opposed to just having money in a money market and self paying.
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct. There's not in the market, so any premiums you actually put into this solution is zero risk, right? Zero risk, and there's zero fees outside of that premium that you put in, and I don't charge you to do it. So a lot of folks, do this that I've obviously talked to in my portfolio because of that is zero risk. They can transfer some of that money into a risk-free type of environment and still make 5, 6, 7, 8% on that money. Or in some instances, they put it into a life insurance policy with living benefits that has the LTC type of riders to it.
Great.
Like that are single pay. So they want to just put the money in there and forget about it. That's what we can do that too.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is the modern approach, I feel like, because old-fashioned, it bears repeating, old-fashioned long-term care policies, maybe somebody had one in your family or somebody that you knew in your neighborhood, and they just put money into it, and then they never use the darn thing, and that money is irretrievable, just like car insurance.
That is correct. So yeah, these modern policies aren't like that at all. At least the ones I will present, they are either hybrid type of policies to where it's attached to like either an annuity or a life insurance policy, or it's the kind of long-term care policies that actually will give you return of premium in the event that you don't use your policy.
Of course, we hope that we never have to use it, but there you
exactly.
have it.
And in that instance, guess what? You get the money back. And what the thing is, this is what our financial fast track review is all about. If you're ready to understand how, what a long-term care exposure looks like and what your best protection options are, this is your perfect time to step up and make it happen. For the next 10 callers, we're going to run a full long-term care analysis as part of your complimentary financial fast track review. Here's what you're going to get. A care cost protection customized for your age, your health, and your state of residence. A side-by-side comparison of a traditional, hybrid, and annuity-based long-term care solutions. And a personalized protection plan showing exactly how to shield your income and assets while keeping your family out of financial stress. It's completely free with no obligation, but these sessions fill up fast. So for the next 10 callers, that's your financial fast track review, free of charge. Jackie, tell the listeners how to get in contact with us.
My pleasure. 888-548-0409. 888-548-0409. Be right back.
Is your retirement plan starting to feel generic? You're unique. Your retirement strategy should be too. At Long Financial Services, Tod Long customizes each plan specifically around you, your life, and your goals. For a personalized review of your retirement, call 888-548-0409. Proudly serving Oklahoma. Again, that's 888-548-0409.
This is an informative show. Well, we think that about all of our topics, but this week's topic is also timely because it is Long-Term Care Awareness Month. And, you would be remiss if you were to do a financial show during Long-Term Care Awareness Month and not mention long-term care.
That is correct.
We're here fulfilling our duty here on the radio. That's Tod Long. I'm Jackie Selby. And I know you're going to cover a case study here. We've talked about facts, figures, the numbers, the options, but all of this ties it together. So why don't you tell us about your case study example?
Sure. So I'll let's set the stage right quick.
Sure.
This woman's name's Stacy.
Okay.
She's 51 years old, very successful, working in a high-pressure technical corporate job. Both of her parents are in the 80s. They're retired teachers, did everything correct. They saved modestly. They paid off their home, lived within their means, everything. Just kind of what you kind of said just a minute ago. It's like, I'm going to sit on the rocker and live my life. Mm-hmm. But neither of them ever set up long-term care plan. Then a few years ago, her mother was diagnosed with dementia, and everything had changed. Her father tried to manage for a while, but the mom's condition worsened, so she began needing 24/7 care. So this is really the domino effect. At first, they thought Medicare would help, but it doesn't cover the custodial care or most of what her mom needed. So Stacy started helping out financially, thinking it would be only temporary. But her mom's care needs started to grow. The family began to spend down their own savings. So eventually, Stacy had to sell her own home, move in, and become a full-time caregiver while trying to maintain a corporate job remotely. That was very challenging.
And sad as can be, really, for all involved, because the stress level goes up in the home, doesn't it? And your own care, Stacy taking care of herself, and now she's got to take care of her pop's needs too, in addition to the mom's needs. And it just can all go sideways. Now we're not eating properly. Now, right, we're just getting meals from wherever we can, and it's a spiral. I've seen it. Our neighbors. This happened to my neighbor growing up, and she spent like 10 years then in a state-run nursing facility, and she didn't even know who anybody was, of course. But the body will linger on sometimes.
Right. Yeah, this is the part that a lot of people underestimate. So Stacy told me that you kind of mentioned it. She was exhausted. She, physically, emotionally, and financially started to get exhausted as well. So her career started to suffer as well because of this. She had to turn down promotions, reduce her workload just to keep things afloat at home. So this stress was obviously, crushing her. And as we mentioned earlier, depression and all these types of things affect your health. And the kicker is, even with her sacrifices, her parents' assets, those modest teachers, pensions, and savings, et cetera, were starting to evaporate. Every month, thousands of dollars went out for care that Medicare just didn't cover.
Even that Medicare didn't cover.
Exactly.
This is one of the reasons you want to call Tod and see if you can kick this around with him. It's no cost, no obligation to sit down and speak to him about it. He's got all this experience with how the modern policies could work, whether it's life insurance policy we talked about in the last segment, or also an annuity product. But I hate to even use the word product policy because it might throw people off. But boy, it could be a life-saving golden ticket.
Yeah, it could be. And this is kind of what Stacy did. She actually called me and said, hey, I can't let this happen to my kids that she's going through right now. She's got to get ahead of it. So, she didn't want her children to be forced into the same position as she was in, juggling a career, caregiving, because there was no plan. So we sat down, reviewed her entire financial situation. It was a financial fast track review before it was a financial fast track review. And she had, she had a 401k, she had some savings. She had an old annuity that had been sitting there earning very little. So we decided to actually reposition that annuity into an annuity-based long-term care plan that helped her considerably, give her peace of mind to where she's not going to be in the same situation her parents are in.
Right. Oh, gosh. And that's all we can ask for, 888-548-0409. Call Tod, 888-548-0409. The cost, like you mentioned, not everything is covered. Say that you are in a state-run facility. Anyway, we have a relative that is on a Medicaid situation, and they don't cover everything. So we have different family members popping in to do nail trims and haircuts. And, it's just not what you think it's going to be. And you're shocked at every single turn in the road. You're like, wait a minute, you don't do that? But you guys are nurses.
Right.
It just depending on state and facility and all those things. But if you have something in place, by golly, you're not worried about such things because it's funded properly. That's correct. It's funded properly, and you have control of where that money goes.
What I did for Stacy, we had implemented what we implemented gave her, guaranteed stream of benefits she can use for long-term care, either at home, in an assisted living facility, or in a nursing facility. It makes no difference where it's at. And if she ever needs help with activities of daily living, like I mentioned, or faces chronic illness, or her annuity will actually double its payout to actually cover that care. And if she never needs care, her money keeps growing, as I mentioned, and whatever's left goes to her kids as a tax-free legacy. So there's no premiums actually wasted. There's no use it or lose it type scenario. So she's got complete control, and also the premiums. I probably hadn't mentioned this throughout the entire show, is that the premiums that she actually creates are guaranteed. So that $60,000, whatever it is I mentioned earlier, that's the only time she has to pay any money is $60,000, and that's it. Everything else is going to be taken care of her.
Wow. So this is a situation where it doesn't increase over the years like traditional long-term care policy. Sometimes which we're not talking about, but sometimes those premiums go up, and then if you can't meet that premium, then they'll say, okay, well, we'll only cover part of your care now.
Correct. These are guaranteed premiums, meaning that if it's $60,000, $50,000, $10,000, whatever it may be, it's guaranteed for the life of the policy. And there's also, especially on the annuity versions of this, there's a cost of living adjustment. So if because healthcare is going to go up, right? I mentioned earlier today, in 20 years, it's going to be $218,000 for nursing home facilities.
Golly.
These policies, because I have that cost of living adjustment, will start to grow as well. Even though you paid the $50,000, $60,000, whatever it was, 10, 15 years ago, guess what? your payouts are going to be higher because of the cost of living adjustment. So it's very important. Again, it helps. It helps because the healthcare costs are going to rise.
Yes.
It just is what it is, and we're living longer too. So these policies last a lifetime.
Well, if we get up off the chair once in a while and take a lap around the the high school track,
That's true.
888-548-0409. Call Todd and say, I want you to talk to me about this.
Yeah.
I'm in the right age group, and I just need to make sure that I'm covered. 888-548-0409. And earlier, Todd, we were talking about the wealthy. Sure, somebody who has $5 million or above, they wouldn't. Most already know about these life insurance policies, and they wouldn't be, having that wealth go down the toilet, right?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. No, most people who have $5 million or more don't know about these policies, or they don't really. Either? They don't understand how they work.
Oh my God!
They may have a kind of a high level overview of what a long term care policy is, but they don't know the intricacies of it and how it actually can benefit them the most. So even folks that have that kind of money can actually benefit from one of these policies. Because Stacey's story, isn't rare. Millions of Americans, this is their reality. They have someone that they have to take care of who's living longer, right? But that they aren't necessarily living healthier, even though they may eat healthy and try to exercise. You mentioned walking around the track or whatever. You got to do a lot more stuff because there are a lot more contaminants out there in the world, right?
Boy, isn't that the truth?
Yeah. And the question isn't will you need care? It's actually who will pay for it and how will affect the people you love. So planning ahead doesn't just protect your money. It protects your family, your career, and technically your dignity. So no matter how much money you have in the bank, a long-term care policy would be beneficial for you.
Now, Todd, again, is reachable on his 888 number, 888-548-0409. I like to give the number often enough so that you can grab it when you need it, because maybe someone's just tuning by to listen to the show, 888-548-0409, listening for the first time. So feel free to call Todd. He can address a lot of other things to do with your retirement, making sure that's a secure retirement. And by gosh, long-term care planning is part of a secure retirement planning. My point about the wealthy people, like uber wealthy families, use life insurance to pass down wealth from generation to generation.
True, they do.
And so they use it for all kinds of things. They create a bank for their family. I mean, think about all these wealthy these wealthy families, but think about the Waltons or I could name 100 other families. But that's what they do, is they set up life insurance to make sure that the money is being passed down appropriately and that they're funded appropriately for their retirement needs.
Passed down in a very tax efficient manner.
Now you're talking.
Absolutely. That's what they do. They have typically those are IUL policies, premium finance IUL policies. I probably had told you, but I know of a case. It wasn't mine, but I think the gentleman had done, I want to say it was about $1 million in premium that he paid for this policy, and the wealth transfer ballooned to $20 million. So if you were to pass away, et cetera, then this policy would transfer $20 million to his heirs. So there's ways to do all kinds of different things. And again, it's not a finite example. There's tons of people that actually do this. There's a lot of folks that, probably make $600,000, $700,000 a year. But they can do these policies that can benefit, really generational wealth, because that money will just be passed down and passed down and passed down. That's how you kind of generate it. Outside of that, most of these policies, when they do have these long-term care riders attached to it. So in the event something does happen, then some of that money is accelerated to them to help them with a caregiver, help them with a facility charge, help them in the time of long-term care need.
Very good stuff. I just love this show because I think everyone who's listening can take a bite out of something that we've presented and chew on it for a while. We're all getting older. We all have to age. We all have to retire.
Absolutely. And if you're listening right now and Stacey's story sounds familiar, which it probably should, if you've watched a parent or loved one go through all this, then it's time to create your own plan. We're offering a financial fast track review for the next 10 callers. Here's what it's going to include. A personalized care cost analysis showing you what an event like this could mean for your retirement, a review of existing assets and annuities to see how they can be repositioned for care benefits, and a custom protection plan that keeps you in control whether you need care or not. It's free, it's confidential, and it's the kind of clarity that brings peace of mind. So for the next 10 callers, that's a financial fast track review, no cost, no obligation. Jackie, tell the listeners how to secure one of their sessions.
888-548-0409, 888-548-0409. Long Financial Services, 888-548-0409.
Investment advisory services offered through Tod Long, a registered investment advisor. During this show, Tod Long provides general information, not individually targeted personalized advice, and is not liable for the usage of information discussed. Exposure to ideas and products or services should not be considered investment advice or a recommendation to buy or sell any of these financial vehicles. This information should also not be considered tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a professional specializing in the fields of tax, legal, accounting, or investments regarding the applicability of this information for their situation. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments will fluctuate, and when redeemed, may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Any comments regarding safe and secure investments and guaranteed income streams refer only to fixed insurance products. They do not in any way refer to securities or investment advisory services. Fixed insurance and annuity product guarantees are subject to the claims paying ability of the issuing company and are offered through Tod Long. By contacting Tod Long, you may be provided information regarding the purchase of insurance products.